touching the inside. He's gonna go for the risk. Marius with less speed. Who's gonna get it here? Heath takes it, 0.9. Great round to finish this.
Ooh, it's getting close. Who's gonna make the finish first here?
Don't know what happened with the stream there, but anyways, good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it may be for you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 8th week of the HD Weekly League. My name is Acrinator, and I'll be your host and actual caster for today. Kind of weird seeing an actual caster on the stream, right? Banter aside. Welcome, everyone. While this is an NA-based event, everyone is welcome to participate. Just gotta go look up the Kentucky Trackmania club in-game. We'll worry about that in a moment. But let's get to the brass tacks, shall we? So we're gonna start off with just a qualifier to determine the top 8. And then from there, we're gonna be going into like a single elimination bracket of 1v1s all the way up through the grand finals. Now, the top 2 participants of this event are going to be getting some actual prize money. First place is going to get $70 US, that's 70. And then second place is going to get $30 US. So there is a little bit of money to be played for. However, there is also a larger annual event that'll be happening at some point in December. There's the information to be determined, or to be announced, I suppose. We're still waiting on more information from that, but we've got literally 6 months, so hold off on that. But anyone who can make it past the qualifiers to the top 8 is going to be getting at least 1 point heading towards that. And as we saw last week with Mika, who participated for the first time and ended up winning, he's currently 8th in the overall standings, well, technically tied for 7th, but we'll get there, right? So first things first, there are 8 maps that are available in the map pool, 5 of which will be randomly chosen by me, not so much by me, but I'll be clicking the wheel to randomly determine. In fact, I'll show you the wheel right now. So this is the wheel. These are the 8 maps. We got Verdant Grasslands, Chris 4 Seasons, Hypnotoad, HD's Entanglement, the easy version of Grip from last year. You can thank Dummy for that one. Scorpion, 23 Backwards, which I think is just a campaign map that's backwards, and then a map called the Rattlesnake. So we're going to be going into the actual map choices. Now for the qualifiers, only 5 of these maps will be chosen, and then when we actually play the rounds, we're going to be playing 3 rounds on each map. Everyone's going to get points for whatever position they finish in each round, and then at the end of those 15 rounds in total, 3 rounds for each map. Then the top 8 of those will qualify into the single elimination 1v1 bracket. So I don't see any reason to delay any longer, so let's get going. Dummy, I hope you're ready. First map choice looks like it's gonna be Chris 4 Seasons. We've seen this one actually quite a lot in the qualifiers. Pretty funny. Chris 4 Seasons. It's gonna be the first one. So we're gonna remove that. And then decide the second map. Now, Chris 4 Seasons, for those of you who are unaware, is primarily a penalty sand reactor and like red booster map. It's more of a lol track than anything else. But next up we have HD's Entanglement. A little bit of wordplay there, reference back to the Duo Cup, the original Duo Cup last November or December, because HD had sponsored that event, and myself and a few other casters kept calling him Entanglement instead of Enlightenment. I blame Randomize for not giving us that in writing, but probably won't happen the next time around. I'll probably just call him HD. Either way, HD's Entanglement is going to be the second map. Less lol, more just pretty hard. If I remember, it was dirt and grass, I think. I don't know. I remember the last jump actually being kind of difficult to get clean. Either way, those are the first 2 maps. Third map. Interested if Verdant Grassland will be chosen, but it looks like it's going to be the other blue pie section here, the 23 backwards map. I've checked this one out. It didn't look too difficult, but at the same time, because it's not too difficult, who knows how close the rounds are going to be. That is going to be map number 3. 2 more to be determined. As I was saying before, Verdant Grassland's a rather difficult grass map. Some blind turns. Looks like we are going to be seeing it. I don't think I've seen it thus far in the actual tournament. I don't know if it was played last week. I didn't get a chance to catch last week because I was doing a lot of production stuff for other NCSA events, PATC. But Verdant Grasslands is going to be the 4th map, and then the last map for the qualifier is gonna be. Looks like it's gonna be the Rattlesnake. This one is either this one or Scorpion. That's a pretty darn difficult transitional, like mixed tech kinda. I forget. I think it might have been the Rattlesnake. We'll find out. But that is going to be that. So while Dummy is getting that set up, we can talk a little bit about what we're going to be seeing here, right? So you can see the overall standings. Like I said, the top 8 are going to be getting at least 1 point. If I scroll further down here, you can see some people with 0 points. Those are people that just showed up and couldn't quite make it to the or past the qualifier per se. You have people down here with 1 point, meaning they got, maybe 1 or 2 positions in the top 8, but then fell out immediately of the quarterfinals. You have some people with 5 points, 6.7, 11 for Tubes. Chomp just barely out of the top 8 with 12. And keep in mind that these top 8, the big pictures you see here, are going to be the ones that are actually going to be invited into the big event in December. So let's actually hop over to, this is just a more formal leaderboard with more interesting stats. I zoomed in very far so you could see it. But you can see the top 8 here. Mecca literally only played once last week. He won. He won $70 and got 15 points. You can see it's also a nemesis system. That's just based off of how many times people have versed other people and lost to them in the actual bracket itself, not so much the qualifiers. Pretty interesting stuff there. You can see Marius, despite the fact that he's number 1 in terms of points, he's actually never won the event. He's gotten 2nd place 4 times. And then the other 2 he's gotten, I think, to the semifinals and fell out. But you can see, here's the bracket for this week's. Currently empty, but you can see all the different stuff. So I'm going to bring it back to my camera for a moment. We're going to try and see if the rooms are open. Again, if you want to, actually I'll send it to the in-game screen so I could show you exactly where to go. You could just go to the clubs. As long as you have any paid access to the game itself, you can just look up Kentucky. It's going to be that first one, Kentucky Trackmania. Don't mind that one or that one or that one or that one. It's just going to be Kentucky Trackmania. And then here we go, HD Weekly's Quali. So we're going to hop right into that because it looks like they got all the maps set up. Spectate. Okay, doesn't want to go. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to be bringing it back to my camera. Not have the private World Cup. Sorry, I'm also reading chats. Dummy is going to be chatting quite a bit, if you couldn't tell. So we're going to be going into the qualifier in just a little bit. We're going to be taking some time to actually go through and make sure players have enough time to get in. It's not actually going to be starting until closer to the turn of the hour, so we got 10 minutes or so. But currently looks like it's just me in the room. Okay, no, Marcel joined. Marcel, another host that you probably would have seen, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I could just look at the schedule. Actually, no, I can't because I don't have it up right now, but do I? No, I do have it up. Yeah, you would have seen him last week. And actually, you're going to see him next week as well because we got the Dual Cup for that as well. Won't be seeing me. I think I'll be a part of the broadcast for that one. Dummy professional chatting. So we do have usually a good number of Europeans also show up for this. Marius has shown up. He has won, I think, the most. Actually, I can bring that stat back up. If I go to the browser window, Heave has, yeah, he's won the most at 3. The next closest would be Mad Hyper at 2. You can see Jack also won 1 week. There are past weeks here somewhere. Mika won last week. Jack won 2 weeks ago. Oh, Marius did win. Really? Wait, what? He says, oh wait, no, that's qualifiers. Yep, the bracket's down here. I'm misreading. It's okay. We'll get there. Jack actually did win 2 weeks ago though, and I know for a fact Mika won. And you can see, you know, Marius gotten pretty far. Not quite able to close it out just yet, although he's gotten close. I'm pretty sure there was at least one final with him involved that got to a map 7. We'll worry about the specifics and logistics of the actual bracket itself when we get to those points. Don't worry about that right now. I'm not going to overload you with information until it's absolutely necessary. So, for now, you can also see like the earnings that people have gotten. Heave, of course, winning 3 times. 70 times 3, you can do the math there. Have Matt Hyper, similar deal. Won twice. Looks like he's appeared 3 other times, but must not have gotten even second place for those. Or did he? No, he didn't. So, they have people like Cackney, like Dummy. Dummy actually being the only piece. Number 6 in the standings has yet to win any prize money. Actually lost to Heave 3 times in the bracket. Is that the, yeah, that's the worst nemesis we've seen thus far. The next closest would be, who's this in number 9 position? Number 9, that would be Chomp, just outside of the top 8. Of course, Marius lost to Heave as well. So Heave is just like everyone's worst nightmare in this bracket. Just checking in. Looks like we have 1 person in the lobby right now. There's still about 10 minutes remaining, so we're just going to be killing a little bit of time talking a bit about this and that. So yeah, and keep in mind, folks, like you might look at this and say like, oh, you have people who've been playing for going on 2 months now, and you have no chance to actually make it into the bracket for the for that top 8 position. But like Mika literally just played once last week. We are very much not in that point just yet where you don't really have a hope of making it into that top 8 position. Gambler's fallacy, enlightenment in chat. Dummy's got to beat Heave eventually. Nobody beats Dummy 17 times in a row. But yeah, no, if you're interested in participating, these maps are certainly not your stereotypical competitive map. I think like one of them might have been. I think it was the Scorpion one, which actually isn't in the qualifier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Rattlesnake was the Plastech one. But then the other map, I think it was Scorpion, that we might see. I'm not sure. We'll get into the pick and bans for the actual bracket later on. But we do have a good amount of opportunity if you are interested in like competing, especially if you're going to get into those like top 4 positions. Like if we scroll, I think a little bit further down, yeah, you can see the number of points. If you get into 3rd and 4th place, like if you can get to the semifinals, you're getting 5 points for that. You're not getting any prize money on the weekly basis, but you are going to be getting a good position in the overall standings. I mean, like 5 points as it currently stands would get you tied with 14th, which, you get another one of those, you're immediately in that 11th spot, just above Cosmos actually, as well. And you get another one of those, you might be fighting for the top 8. So you really just need to be good enough to get into those, semifinal positions. Semifinals and dip. Well, right now, got about, 7 minutes, give or take by my clock. We got 4 people currently in the lobby for the qualifiers, now 5. Got a few people showing up. Now, I do want to clarify something real quick. Joseph the Hamster, for people in chat who are more knowledgeable, that is Fred Wolf, right? That would be Fred Wolf. I believe I remember seeing someone else casting last week. It might have been Nats. Okay, yeah, that is Fred Wolf. Just wanted to make sure. Because I've seen that name around and I'm like, well, the car skin looks familiar, but I don't recognize the name per se. But get about 5 more minutes. Right, and I can actually bring us into the in-game itself. Oops. Just gotta spectate someone for too many players plugins actually work. We got 7. We got 7 people. So if we even just get one more, then qualifiers is really just a guarantee into the bracket. Everyone would be technically guaranteed for that 1 point at the very least. Pretty sure iCarly TM is pro, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that was his nickname. Here you can see this is not like official. We're just vibing, waiting for people to show up. Yeah, okay, that is pro. Because I knew the air skin, and I myself am a part of air, so I know that much. Have, you know, you could see some Europeans as well. Actually, quite a few people from Denmark, as it turns out. And there's still plenty more room to hop in. Live discovery from pro. Well, I mean, as it currently stands, you might be guaranteed a spot in the bracket itself. Actually, if Marcel's going to be playing as well instead of just spectating, then we do have 8 currently. Of course, again, remember, this is also for prize money. Okay, we do have someone else, Kumiko, joining in, so now we definitely have 8, even if Marcel doesn't want to play. And, you know, even if you don't think you can make it into the grand finals, try and actually fight for some of that prize money, you can still just play for fun. These aren't particularly competitive maps per se. This isn't going to be like EMC. You know, some of these maps are difficult. Some of them are very, shall we say, Keck L inspired. We'll see what goes on with there. But it's all good fun. Marcel is pushing the event at the moment. I'm assuming he means hosting. I don't know. Either way, we got a few people. Is that the Indian flag? Is someone from India? Curiosity? And worth noting as well, I'm only going to keep, what's it called, Open Planet up for just the qualifiers, mostly just for this plugin right here. The too many players. Once we get into the single elimination bracket, I'm just gonna shut down Open Planet and we can have a little scoreboard to keep track. Will be slightly different format. We'll worry about that when we get there. Got about 3 minutes remaining. See Dan on the Moon, memory serves, is has a decent amount of points. Yeah, he's currently at 5 points overall. So, you know, a semifinals appearance here might actually do pretty well for him in the overall standings if he's going for that kind of thing. Kumiko is Heave. Oh, okay, Kumiko is Heave. Okay, so the warlord of this event has returned with a vengeance. The monthly name change is hitting strong. Oh yes, that is another thing, folks. Make sure you are in the Kentucky Trackmania Discord server. That is the way that once we hit the bracket, we're going to have whatchamacallit. We're going to have a map picks and bans, and the way we do that is through the Discord itself. We're going to have a little thing here. You can see actually the backwards map right now playing on, but yes, make sure you are in the Discord. Unless you're just vibing for the qualifiers and have no intention whatsoever of making it to the bracket itself. And actually, there's Mika as well, so we have both players in the lobby, both Heave and Mika, who have a 100% win rate. So one of them, theoretically, has to lose today. We'll see. I don't know. We'll have to find out. My money is kind of on Heave. No offense to Mika, but Heave has more wins under his belt. Actually, some of them consecutively, I think. He hasn't been able to make it for a couple of weeks here and there, just because of other events, maybe IRL stuff. Also have someone from Japan joining, Tack. That name sounds familiar, but for the life of me, I couldn't tell you what it's from. Either way, we got about 1 more minute. We're probably going to be resetting the lobby in just a little bit, you know, give a little bit more time for people to show up. Actually, Purple joined as well. Has Purple participated? And I've seen Purple around the community, obviously, but I don't think I've seen Purple participate in this event quite yet. I have quite a few Europeans trying to steal some money, and is that Loudus? Or Lardus? Okay, they're gone anyways. Okay, well, I have a few people leaving and joining here and there, but I think it's safe to say we have more than the bare minimum of 8. Well, it is 4 o'clock by my clock, so we're pretty much just going to be waiting for the people in charge of the lobby to get things set up and go for that reset, and then we're pretty much good from there. Oh yes, that is another thing. Thank you, HD, for reminding, since more people might be listening to me than reading chat, but make sure that your Discord name, if and when you join the Kentucky Trackmania Discord, that you change your nickname in the Discord to whatever your in-game name is. Makes it easier to find you. Just, you know, we've we've had problems with that before. Okay, looks like Dummy is going to be restarting, or going back to map 1, then restarting, and then everything is live from there. Remember, folks, we have these 5 maps that were chosen in the little wheel of RNG just about, you know, 10-15 minutes ago. There are 3 other maps that will be available to be chosen once we hit the bracket, but for now, they will not be eligible here in the qualifiers. Going to be playing 3 rounds per map. Going to get, you know, a couple of points per win, or whatever position that you get in the map. And then from there, we'll just keep going on through the 5 maps, 3 rounds per map. After the 15 rounds, the top 8 people in terms of points will move on to the single elimination bracket, and there it's just going to be as simple as 1st place versus 8th place, 2nd place versus 7th place, so on and so forth. We're probably going to be following those middle 2 matches, because 1st versus 8th is usually a bit of a stomp, shall we say. But for now, we're not in the bracket quite yet. We are in the qualifiers. We're going to have a quick warm-up, and then we are going into it for real this time around. This is the Chris 4 Seasons map, or Seasons, I don't know. It's like they had a stroke trying to trying to spell out the name of this map. It is a lot harder than it looks to get it fast, but you can survive. You're just not going to get it super fast. I don't remember what the best times were on this. Doesn't really matter, because he was probably going to be driving, you know, close to that world record, or at least the rounds record per se. And we're just going to be following along with Heave, because he's been playing this map for quite a while. This map, I believe, is going out of the map pool after this week. It's been in the map pool for close to a month by this point. You can see, like, the only one who's close to him right now is Mika, who's kind of bouncing back and forth between, like, right up next to him and just, you know, a few car lengths behind. Coming out of that penalty sand, you have about another, like, 180-degree turn coming up here, but it looks like Heave and Mika keeping it rather constant here. Heave going for a very inside approach, keeping it clean. Heave and Mika, 1st and 2nd. Dummy will claim that 3rd place. Let's see, let me move this down a little bit so we can move it up, actually. There we go. Better position for it. You can see Tack getting that 8th place, Purple in 7th. And there, actually, you can see. So we do have 9 people participating here. It doesn't look like Toyota. Did Toyota leave the lobby? I saw them here earlier. Looks like they did. Either way, let's hop on board with Dan on the Moon. They've been a pretty consistent participant, although I think there's been at least 1 week, I think, where they couldn't make it past the qualifier. So we'll see here. Seem to be doing pretty good so far. They're in 4th place. Not too shabby, but you can see the top 3, Mika and Heave, battling it out. Purple now takes over that 4th place spot. You do have Coob, or Cobb, maybe, coming in a little bit late, but better late than never, I suppose. Do have Purple and Dan on the Moon fighting for that 4th place spot, but you can see, looks like the top 3 are pretty consistent here. 34 mid seems to be a pretty darn fast time. Dummy, I didn't even drive bad, Jesus. Yeah, well, he's about a 2nd behind. Not an easy map to risk. Again, it's an easy map to survive, not risk. If you want to risk, you gotta get crazy close to the inside. We're gonna watch, who should we watch? Let's give a little bit of love to the Brit that just joined, Cobb or Coob. I'm gonna say Cobb, because that makes more sense. Trailing a little bit behind, you do have Walla as well. Okay, well, there's Toyota, and there goes Toyota hitting the wall. You do want to take as many inside lines here as possible. It's just faster in general. Toyota actually even further behind than that. Tack fighting it out for that 7th place spot, and really anything in the top 8 here consistently is going to get you a decent amount of points compared to everyone else. You can see past that you start to lose some more and more points. Actually, Pro will be falling further and further down, actually not even gaining any points, and you do get a good amount of points per round, so that's a lot. Okay, well, Cobb also left, so unfortunate there. Probably not the best first impression there with the map, but thankfully that was the last round of the map. So, moving on to the second map. Which one is this? This is HD's Entanglement. I love that map name. By Jabsky? No, Jinx. Yeah, Jinx. I knew it was like with the DJ in the name. Not the hardest map in the world. Pretty clean. Sort of like, you know, dirt and grass tech. But otherwise, that ending jump can be way more treacherous if you don't quite know the line. You can see the in-game chat. Toyota just joined because Marcel threatened his life, said if you don't join, I know where you live. Probably, I don't know. We'll see. Either way, you can see this map a little bit less XDD per se. Toyota actually doing pretty well for having no idea what's going on and probably live discovering these maps. But you can see Mika and Heave up in the lead. Actually, Mika doing pretty well right now. The Ice God is also quite proficient on other styles, as it turns out. Heave trailing actually a little bit further behind Fred Wolf in that 2nd place spot, and there's really not that much track remaining. Mika seems to have the line down, gets a good amount of airtime, nice and safe. Dummy getting that 7th place spot, and then people just trailing in. Marcel on Twitch chat didn't explain anything whatsoever, just said join. Fair. Fair is fair. But you can see these top 8, or really the top 7 positions, are starting to solidify here. Everyone in that top 7, from purple upwards, all in that 3-digit category, whereas you have Tack and Pro and Toyota kind of a little bit closer, right? Heave actually hits the wall there, so he will lose a couple of points. Mika seems to be very comfortable on this map. I think he's practiced, methinks. Also, this map probably would have been played quite a bit last week when he won, so, you know, eventually figured out. Dummy just perpetually in that 3rd place spot. He really doesn't want to ever win any prize money and get to the grand finals. I say that, right, as he overtakes Purple, but then he overtakes him. He's just Dummy's kryptonite. He's everyone's kryptonite, besides Mika, apparently. Mika definitely seems to be very comfortable on this map. Dummy actually falling down even further, gets sniped out by Fred Wolf. Pro getting a little bit closer as well. And now you have a dead tie in the points. 235 for both Heave and Mika. Methinks that's going to be the grand final. But anything can happen, including Purple, you know, smacking into the wall. I wouldn't advise it. It's a bold strategy, but I think we've seen how that worked out. Now Heave getting a little bit of revenge for the previous round, and actually Fred Wolf seems very comfortable on this map as well. He got pretty good lines, didn't quite get the drop he wanted there, hit the wall a little bit. And Dan Moon, a name that we haven't seen up in the front too often, but he has a lot of speed going into this. Can he maintain it? I don't know, it's getting a little bit dicey. And Heave will overtake, but Dan on the Moon should be able to keep it clean and claim a nice 2nd place. Where is Mika? Must have crashed somewhere along the way. So he's only going to get a couple of points. Heave will maintain that 1st place spot. Got a little bit dicey there with a tie. Granted, I'd say by this point they're probably both guaranteed for the bracket, per se. But we'll have to see. Going over to the 3rd map out of the 5. Pro seems to like that map. Dummy, please no. But now, got the backwards map. This one's interesting. I haven't seen anyone play this yet. Again, I didn't catch last week. Actually, I don't know if this map is new to this week either. We'll figure that out, but it seems like Purple seems to be quite happy to be on this map. Just in the warm-up, he's multiple car lengths faster than the next fastest person, although Mika, maybe he'll have something to say about it. I didn't quite see Heave in the top 3 there. But we'll see. Let's follow Tack. Someone from Japan. Must be like middle of the morning for him. I don't quite know which time zone or in what relation the time zone is. Not quite doing too well, him and Walla. Kind of trailing up the rear right now, and I believe Tack is right around that 8th place spot. You can see, yeah, a few people not having the best of time with the backwards driving Dummy. Just a little bit behind or potentially in front of the pack, depending on how you look at it. But it seems like Mika, Purple, and Heave up in that front spot. Dummy will overtake for that fourth place spot. There's no shot. There's no shot. There's no shot. Dummy, please. Twice in a row. You 5th place is handed to you on a silver plate. Don't you dare. Okay, well, we got 6th place. Oh, no. Yeah, that was, we saw everything. We saw every single fail. Every second of that final approach, because I thought you were going to claim 4th place. Now, Mika is going to tap the wall there. So he will fall rather far behind. As you can imagine, a crash here on this map is going to be a little bit more punishing than most others. Fred Wolf, well, that's not quite the direction you want to be driving. I don't actually know how this is going to work from here on out. I mean, forwards driving, sure, seems to be working well enough. If it works perfectly, I would be surprised if no one else does it. Maybe that's the strat, although maybe it takes too long to turn around. You can see Mika and Heave battling it out, but Dummy gets a little bit of revenge. Oh, there we go. Fred Wolf did have to be driving backwards, so he's not going to have the best of time really whatsoever, but Dummy, that's a really solid time. Just do that again. You got one more round. Oh, dear. Oh, and Fred Wolf didn't even get any points. He falls way down from 4th to 6th place. You can see the points are rather close here. And it looks like the top 8 are, less close to the bottom few just outside of that top 8. Tack has a little bit of a cushion, even though he hasn't been doing incredibly well on this map. But it seems like everyone else below him isn't really having that much fun either right now. Dummy and Purple up battling for that 1st place spot. Dummy has a little bit more of an inside line, but Purple has beautiful speed slides. He has so much speed coming into this. Dummy has a little bit of an awkward line, survives the wall ride, but he gives up multiple positions as a result and gets a really awkward landing there. Oh, he was way far behind. Okay, and going into the final approach, it looks like Mika will close it out with Fred Wolf and Purple just behind. How's Dummy doing? There we go. He's going to get into that 7th place spot. Really, anything in the top 8 here is going to be nice and safe. Tack will get 8th place. That's going to be it for this map. We only got 2 more. So the positions are probably going to be rather locked in. I'd say by this point, like the top 3, maybe 4 are pretty darn safe. As we come into it, oh yep, verdant grasslands. Can we not play that map again? Pro. I don't think you have to worry about that too much. Yeah, just looking at the points, you have the top 4 in 300 point range. Fred Wolf and Walla just barely outside of it. Verdant grasslands, what I would like to describe as a Cam 2 speed tech grass map. As a Cam 1 player, it's kind of difficult to see where you're supposed to be going. Personally speaking, especially towards the end, hitting the risky finish is not particularly easy. And with that in mind, I think we're going to follow Dummy here for the first round. The pack will remain rather close for the start. I think we'll hop on board with Purple to give a better perspective of that 2nd place. You can see the top 5 dangerously close to each other. over quite there. Dummy going for an inside approach. Is he going to avoid the airtime? Does reasonably well. Here you have one of the more difficult downhill turns to avoid too much airtime. Approaching up to the finish. You can see the top four going for the risky. It is not easy to land. You can see just there, Mika and Purple and Dummy actually all fail. So you have Fred Wolf, who gets first. And Dan on the Moon, actually, because of the multi-car crash, steals third place away. Much needed points there, as well as he's kind of in that danger zone. He's in 7th place right now. Gets a good cushion now from everyone else. I think Tack didn't even finish there, so he's a little bit more in danger. That being said, Pro and Toyota are still 30 or so points away from him. Let's take a look at Dan on the Moon, because he got that risky finish pretty well there. You can see he's trailing behind in the rest of the map, but if you can get that finish, the risky finish, that well every single time, then who knows? Well, Walla gets a little bit of a nose up there. Probably not what he wanted. He's going to be falling further behind. You can see the pack once again. It's the same usual suspects. Okay, well, Dan is a little bit in the mud there. Heave, Purple, Nika, Fred Wolf, and Dummy all going for it. Once again, it seems like everyone's getting a lot more clean this time around, minus Dummy. I don't see his name come up in there. And Walla actually snipes away 5th place, but Dummy's still in 6th. Tack will get the finish now, and Dan on the Moon, rather, will claim that 8th place with the safe finish. Can't blame him. Last round on this map, and then we head over to Rattlesnake? Or Scorpion, I forget which one was actually chosen. They meld together in my head. Okay, Dummy, well that's not how you take that turn. So we're going to hop on board with Heave. Okay, we're going to hop on board with Pro. Yeah, let's stick with Pro for now. A little bit of an XDD map. Like Toyota left the game. But, yeah, you can see why most players don't like to pick this map in particular. It's not often played from what I've seen. Maybe a few people here and there. I think Marius like to play it. Dummy trying to snipe Pro with the lineup. Will just barely. Okay, he claims that 4th place as well. And it looks like all the usual suspects have now finished. That is the last that we have to see of that map for now. We could see it in the bracket. Here we go. This is the Scorpion? Rattlesnake. Right. Yes, this is the very transitional tech. Very punishing. If you mess up a transition, you're basically in the mud. If anyone cuts in rounds, I will kill them, says Pro. There's a cut on this map? Okay, well, yep, let's just hope that a bad warm-up equals good rounds. Well, this time for real, with feeling. You can see everyone keeping it rather close for now. Fred Wolf seems to be rather comfortable on this map. That transition in particular, if you don't have the speed, is absolutely brutal, and there's a gap there leading up to the sausage. Fred Wolf cuts. Okay, that's the cut. Interesting. You can see he's almost a second ahead of everyone else. Let's hop on board with Mika to see 2nd place. I wonder how many people know of that cut, or if they think it's worth it. Mika certainly has more speed, but I don't know if he has quite the lineup. Takes a little bit too much. Penalty Sam, but he snipes it away by just 200ths. Beautiful there, but even still, Fred Wolf gets 2nd place because of it. Pro claiming that 7th. Dummy, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. Pro either has cars on or is listening to the stream because he knows that Fred Wolf in particular did the cut. I want to see that again. That was beautiful. I wonder how consistent that is. Okay, it certainly is risky, and because he clipped right there, you're going to see everyone pass him by. So there is an inherent risk to it. Personally, I like that. I don't think there are any rules against cutting in this, otherwise we would have seen HD freak out in different ways. But right now you do have Heave and Mika, with Dummy trailing just a little bit behind. But it looks like the top two are going to be remaining just a couple milliseconds between them, but Heave will take that extra 5 points. I mean, the points between them after 5 maps, well, 5.5 maps now, is really only like barely double digits. Dan on the moon found the cut, okay. Well, he's certainly not trying. I don't blame him. Like, you need a lot of speed for it. That's more of like a hunting cut than it is rounds. But it's impressive that he got it that one round and stole second away. I want to see this from other people's perspective. So we're going to stick on Dummy's POV for now. I want to see... Okay, Heave going for the cut. I think he got it really clean as well. Fred Wolf, I think, might have clipped again. So Heave finally decided, you know what? It's worth going for it. And he's just rocketing away. He's out of here. He's in another dimension by this point. Well, Fred Wolf is keeping it kind of close. It's really just all Dummy. Unfortunate there. But yeah, you could just see the time difference. He almost hit a 38. That's ridiculous. I don't know what the world record is on this map, but it's probably a 38 something, 38 high, 38 mid. But that is going to be the top 8. You can see it right there. Tack, Dan on the moon, Walla, Dummy. Go back. Either way, we'll let lobby folks deal with that. So for now, that is going to be it for the qualifiers, and we're going to wait a little while to figure out what is going on next. Now, the Dummy, I believe, or someone, should be managing who got what position. Okay, yeah, so someone is, looks like HD is filling in the chart right now. Actually, let's pop on over there so you can see it in real time. So it's going to be 1st versus 8th, 7th versus 2nd, 3rd versus 6th, and then 4th versus 5th. I'm very tempted to do 4th versus 5th because theoretically that's going to be the closest, right? But I kind of want to see Purple versus Walla. We haven't seen a ton of them in the qualifiers, right? But they were always like consistently middle of the pack. Should be interesting enough to see. Of course, Pro and who would that be? Toyota, I guess. Got just out of the range of the quarterfinals itself. But let's actually talk about the quarterfinals now. And actually the whole bracket, right? So the big thing to note here is that the quarterfinals is going to be a first to 3, I think. No, it's a first to 2. You're right, okay. I was thinking best of 3. So this is a first to 2, first to 3, and then first to 4. In that order. So it just gets harder and harder and harder. So, yeah, I think we're going to be going with that quarterfinal C in this bracket. We're going to be doing Purple and Walla. I think that's going to be an interesting match. So I'm going to back out. I think they're just getting the rooms ready right now. They're going to have to go through a pick and ban phase. Yeah, they're just setting up the lobbies and whatnot now. So let's talk a little bit about what we see here. Right. Now, predictions, chat. My guess is that, like Heave and Mika are definitely going to go through. That's kind of a given. In terms of Purple and Walla, I think Purple has a slight advantage. I think Fred Wolf probably has a slight advantage, but I'm not sure how much over Dummy. That one is kind of a 50-50 to me. I think Purple has a good chance, but not a guaranteed chance to make it all the way through. Of course, what would make it even funnier, by the way, is Heave is probably going to make it through. But if Dummy wins for like the 4th time, I think in a row, no, not in a row because Heave hasn't fought, but like for the 4th time, Dummy would face off against Heave in the semifinals, which I just think is poetic. The opportunity you know, fourth time is the charm to fourth time, or is it third time? Dummy, no, it is fourth time. Yeah, it would be fourth time. So if Dummy can survive versus Fred Wolf, Dummy, he's not happy right now. Skill issue. But that's his chance. Fourth time is a charm, maybe. Either way, all you needed to do, Dummy, was throw, I don't know, 20 points? No, sorry, that's way more than 20 points. That's reading it the other way around. You just needed to throw like 100 points. You would have been 6th place. Walla could have gotten 5th. And you would have been on this side of the bracket, probably losing to Mika instead. But, you know, either way. I want to believe that Dummy can upset, quote, upset Fred Wolf, 4th versus 5th. But, you know, I want to believe that he can upset just to lose to Heave again. That would be hilarious. But we're going to have to wait and see. Let's see what we got. I don't think they're quite doing the pick and bans quite yet. Not that I can see, at least. So we're waiting for the Discord. I think I would be pinged in the Discord just to see the pick and bans. But it is a best of 3. So just be... I believe 1 player each bans. Hold on, I can literally just pull this up. So, main bracket, quarterfinals. Yeah, they'll ban 1 map, and they pick 1 map, and the last map will be chosen by HD, I believe. Or no, yes, there's only 1 map remaining at that point, so basically just choosing the order, and then after the quarterfinals, there's no more bans. So, yeah. I don't see any progress right now in terms of channels or whatnot. They're probably just setting up the rooms, if I had to guess. Let's check. Yeah, I think they're just setting up the room. So I'm actually going to send it to a very short break. It should only take like, you know, maybe 3-4 minutes tops. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Alright, welcome back folks. After a very short break, the rooms are now up. We're going to be hopping straight into it. Going in, and I believe they are just setting everything up. We currently have Walla in the room. I'll just send it over to the in-game. There we go, there's purple. Let me just get rid of open planet. There's no need for that right now. Yeah, shut up. Just waiting. There we go. Okay. I don't think it's quite live. So I think, yeah, they're gonna reset and then go. You can see up in the top portion of the screen that we will actually have a little bit of a scoreboard. Remember that the quarterfinals are going to be first two map wins. It's going to be a first to 5 round wins on each map. So I believe this is live. I'm pretty sure this is live. I'm going to pretend like it is. We're just going to go with it. So right now, Purple, of course, being the higher seed, is kind of expected to win this, but Walla, it's only a couple of seeds away in that regard, so there's quite a bit of opportunity for upset here. This one is Scorpion, the dirt map. Rather difficult dirt map as well. You see Purple leading by about half a second right now, getting the better outside lines. There are certain places to crash, but not too many. It's just about clean driving lines, getting the outside dirt and the inside dirt wherever necessary. Yeah, you can see. Now about a second behind Walla, just can't quite catch up. Well, there is the potential to slide out there in that little rally uphill. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. 56.6, it's going to be round number 1 over to Purple. 4 more to go if you were to hard sweep this map. And, well, if there were ever a time to wake up, it is now. This is probably the most brutal style of competition in terms of Trackmanias. 1v1. Don't have anything to blame on your team. You just gotta drive better lines. Let's take a look at Purple here. Going rather inside, takes a little bit of penalty, but it doesn't seem to matter too much. Walla is a lot closer this time around. Purple getting a little bit of airtime there. You can see Walla catching up just barely because of it, but doing well. Okay, well that's a hard crash, and Purple has to entirely reset. It's going to be seconds behind. Walla can take it rather safe right now. That's kind of just what you have to do. Even if you can't get in front of your opponent's pace, if you keep it close, it means your opponent can't step off the gas for even a moment. Here you can see he's almost 7 seconds behind, so Walla just has to walk it in, nice and clean. The pressure of staying closer to Purple this time is probably what caused that crash. Purple, doesn't really matter if he finishes or not. They only get a point for getting in that first place spot. This is not a cup mode who put the CP there. In this case, it would be the Wharf 321. Actually, I just noticed this is a Battle of Germany. Okay. Well, this time around, let's see if Purple can keep away from the checkpoint. Certainly going for a more inside approach here, but Walla, with the outside approach, has a little bit more speed. They're trading blows left and right. Purple avoiding the penalty sand this time around. Very different lines, but it seems to be working out for the both of them because they're within 1/10 of each other. Realistically speaking, Walla getting dangerously close to the wall, has to oversteer just a little bit and loses a bit of purchase. Now a couple tenths behind Purple, but not unrecoverable. He does need to risk a little bit coming into this last section, taking a little bit more penalty than he probably wanted. There's only about, 2 more turns, give or take, so he's going to need to go for a risky outside approach, but I don't think he's going to be getting quite that, and Purple certainly didn't crash, so I got dangerously close to clipping there, but I think Purple's going to walk away with this one. Both in the 57 range, not the fastest times we've seen, but it's good enough to get the job done, and Purple's going to go up 2-1 in this map. And remember, folks, it's not just this map that matters. This is only going to put them on match point, depending on who wins it. Which right now, it's technically up in the air. Walla, despite being that 6th seed, is doing pretty well for himself. And Purple certainly has to risk to stay in the lead, and it seems like whoever's making the least amount of mistakes right now is the one who's running away with it. But Purple not unrecoverably far away. He is going to need to risk, and I think Walla got a little bit of an awkward line there. Might have even clipped somewhere on the wall. So they are neck and neck right now. Purple runs away with it just a little bit. I think Walla got a little bit too much airtime there. The rally blocks ever so treacherous with the jagged walls. Yeah, it's going to be an acceleration penalty. You can see Purple just running away with it. Doesn't even need to take a super outside approach unless he clips here, which he certainly does not. It's going to be a 3rd point for him. Just needs 2 more round wins to walk away with Scorpion here. Realistically, both of these players, their times are not too far away from each other. Purple seems to be making less mistakes overall, but he's still making mistakes. He is mortal. It's just a matter of making sure that you can keep it clean if you're Walla. Purple going for a very inside approach, and Walla I think had to oversteer just a little bit, so he's going to lose some time. Purple, a little bit of a bouncy approach there, but keeps it on the track well enough. I don't think he's going to be crashing that checkpoint again anytime soon. Has a very outside approach, and that's going to be a wall. Not exactly what he wanted, and it's going to take a pretty nasty crash from Purple to... I'm of the mind that casting curses are really the player's fault, because they need to like set up whatever tinfoil hats or dream catchers next to their monitor, whatever it takes to avoid being cursed. Because I gotta talk. That's what I'm here for. If that happens to jinx them, then skill issue, you know. But even still, Purple managed to run away with that round by about a second. Walla just couldn't quite close that one out. Couldn't close the gap. Can't believe they didn't have their casting curse protection. Always bring protection, folks. You never know when you might need it. Either way, Purple with that pretty inside approach there. As long as he doesn't take too much penalty sand, it seems to be rather effective, as it were. I can see why Walla doesn't want to get too close to the penalty there. A little bit of an awkward landing. That's going to lose quite a bit of speed, and you can see Purple just rocketing away from the competition. Walla watching his hopes and dreams on this map, at the very least, fade away into nothing, and the outside line isn't going to do much here, as he's still about a second behind. Has to oversteer just a tiny little bit, but it's enough. 56.9. Purple's going to run away with this first map. One of 2 needed. Next map, I didn't see what the order was. I don't know why I am on the podium. Walla was robbed. Oh, it's because it placed me, because I was spectating him, I think. I don't know. Either way. We have, ooh, Scorpion into Rattlesnake. That's a daring map order. Although I guess my guess is they probably banned the 2 LOL maps, being the backwards one and then the Chris 4 Seasons Part 2B. Just the warm-up. No reason to freak out quite yet, but obviously you don't want that to happen in rounds. Now I wonder, because neither of these players went for the cut, it was really only Heave and Fredwolf. But we'll have to see. These 2 are rather close to each other in terms of pace, so I wouldn't be too surprised if one of them, if they have the speed to go for it, do try to dare their way through that cut. Do need quite a bit of speed coming into it, however, and it looks like Walla already doesn't quite have the speed. Purple might. Don't know if he wants to go for it. No, they're going safe. Keeping it rather clean. Only about 3/10 away, Walla is. Purple not an unrecoverable distance away. Tries to take as much speed out of that drift as he possibly can. Going very inside. He wants to regain some time here. But he goes a little bit too inside, and I don't even know if you can make that. No, you cannot. Purple had to respawn as well. What? What? Huh? Walla DNF'd. Oh no. No. Nah. I was like, why can't I switch to him on camera? And I'm like, no, wait. He wasn't there anymore. Oh, he had a chance. He had a chance. Never DNF, folks. Especially in a 1v1 like this. Oh, that's painful. Oh, dear. Well, still rather close to each other. While the trails, once again, between like 1 and 3/10 seems to be the consistent factor here. But this ending is treacherous as hell. So, never DNF. I cannot emphasize that enough. Coming into the final approach, Walla keeps it clean. I think Purple does the same. Walla goes for the inside approach, but doesn't quite get there. 2/10 away. That's going to be a much cleaner round from both of them. That was an actual good round. The previous one was just a clown fiesta. And, well, Purple only needs to claim 3 more of those, and he wins the quarterfinals, and Walla gets knocked out with just 1 point added to his overall score. I forget exactly what he is in the leaderboards, but he definitely has some points in there. Oh, Purple and Walla crash the same wall. There ain't no way. I don't know if Walla plays with cars on, sees the splits, whatever, but by this point Purple has a much better recovery from the crash. Walla is going to need another clip, another little bit of trolling in the finish in order to have any hope of closing it out with some points, but no, Purple had an extremely clean finish there. Less than clean, middle of the map, but it's a shit fest. Yeah, I suppose. Either way, Purple just needs 2 more rounds. I think they're both kind of regretting not banning this map at this point. It's a brutal map. It is not forgiving for any mistakes. It is, shall we say, bad for rounds. It is really difficult to get it clean and fast. You kind of have to pick one and just roll with it. Purple, as you can see, has a much cleaner line, much faster. Walla playing it very safe, perhaps a bit too safe, because now he's almost a second behind Purple, and he's gonna need a mistake, but Purple's been keeping it rather clean, although he's gaining quite a bit. He has a lot of speed, but he gets the air time at the very end. He could have sniped. That was dangerously close. I think he knows. My guess is Walla knows that how close he actually was. That could have been a ridiculous upset. I think I speak for Walla when I say sausage sucks. Remove from the game, please. But one last round here. Walla is fighting for his life, and the wall may have just claimed it. Purple out here, yeah, well, he's in the mud. Gonna watch Purple because it's really up to him. He clips the wall. Walla still a little ways behind, about 2 seconds or so. Going to be able to stabilize in terms of speed, so I don't think they're going to be gaining or losing much time there. Walla gains about half a second, but at the very end it's going to be Purple claiming his spot in the semifinals. It's going to be 2-0. That's really all there is to it. GG's to Walla. It was a valiant effort. There were some rounds there where it seriously almost could have gone his way, but that's going to be it for that quarterfinals match. I'm going to bring it back to the camera real fast just to see if any of the other matches are going on. We have quarterfinals B, perhaps. Check in with the other theoretically closer one. They seem to be neck and neck. I don't know what the score is. Let me just hide that. But it looks like Dummy is currently in the lead. I don't know what the score is. Oh dear, this is Grip! This is Grip! Oh no, this is the map Dummy wanted to be put into the map pool. This is the map that he grinded to hell and back for World Tour last year. So, yeah. I don't know Why Fred? Maybe Fred Wolf didn't know that. Of course, different regions. D is done, FYI. Mika speedran? Well, yeah, no duh. Mika was second place. It's kind of expected that he's gonna stomp that one out. Okay, Dummy won map 1 5-4. So Dummy currently on match points. Soon to be on map points. He can keep this one clean. I'm just going to keep the scoreboard hidden for now. So I'd rather cast instead of trying to type. But Dummy keeping it clean so far. Fred Wolf struggling, and I don't blame him because it's a World Tour map. The easy version, sure, but I mean this is the map that Dummy wanted. So while he might not have been practicing as rigorously as he would have last year when this was, you know, part of World Tour, he certainly knows the flow of it well enough, and there's really only a little bit remaining of the map, and yeah, it's gonna be Dummy keeping it clean through the identity itself. We thought we were free from identities, but not quite yet. That's gonna be Dummy currently on match point. He just needs this one last round, and then he is through to go face Heave once again. Fred Wolf DNF'd. Okay, well, unfortunate. I think the map pick alone probably tilted Fred Wolf. No one wants to play these except for Dummy. So that's gonna be Dummy. Just needs to walk it and he can crash as much as he wants, but that's gonna be him moving on to the semifinals. World record right now, Dummy. Do it. You can see him pushing. He's really going for it now. Okay, we're just gonna... He won. He won. There's no fun. According to Dummy in match chat, fun fact: I have 13 hours on the map and have 3 splits I can still gain. Okay, well, he finally finished with a 107 for anyone who is curious, but that is going to be that. Dummy is going to be moving on. I would imagine Mika and Heave have already gone through. We're going to be, let's check over. There we go. It doesn't actually look like. I'm just going to hop in. I'm going to leave it on the bracket real quick. Check room A just to see if they're still playing. Okay, looks like he just won on a map, which I think it was close too, by the way. I don't have the camera on it, but it was 5-4. Heave on Hypnotoad. And I think that's it. Yeah, they're not racing, so I think that was it. He just won, just barely. Apparently it was a lot closer for Attack being 8th place out of qualifiers. Apparently did pretty darn good against Steve. But, you know, I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see it happen. Because we've already seen enough of purple for now. And we saw a good amount of Mika in the qualifier. Saw a good amount of Dummy and Heave as well. But I want to see this match because I don't think I've personally seen it. So we're going to be in just a moment waiting for the we're actually going to get a chance to see the map picks this time around. Dummy and match chat. The matchup I look forward to every single week. I don't think Heave participated last week. No, so he had a little bit of a break, Dummy. Although I think... No, Dummy did participate. Who did he lose to? He lost to Fred Wolf. Okay, so he got a little bit of revenge this time around. Oh dear. Okay. But... I think, yeah, here we go. We're just going to be hopping on board. So let me send it over to the Discord screen so you can actually physically see. Okay. The first map pick is going to be Chris Four Seasons. Interesting pick, although I can't blame him. And then Dummy goes for Grip. Keep in mind that the semifinals are going to be a first 3. So Heave gets the probably the most important map pick here. The third map could potentially just be, you know, if Heave 3-0s, that's going to be the map he tries to play it out on. We do have, oh, that's the other match, but we're going to follow this one, so we're going to pay more attention to this right now. Waiting on Heave to decide. There we go, Scorpion. Okay. Okay. A little bit of dirt action. Dummy. More chatting. He'll take the, okay, so we're gonna go from CAC-L to World Tour to normal dirt map to backwards. And then entanglements will be the will be the deciding pick. No bias. And we might as well check on there. Just I'll check the lobby. So we're gonna be okay, the lobbies aren't even open yet, so we're not worried about that quite yet. So we can just check in. So we got Scorpion, then Hypnotoad, 2 rather normal. This is a normal setup. These two are gonna give all like the regular picks. HD Entangle, yeah, it's all the normal maps, and then you have the unhinged picks here. I think we chose the right map to spectate. And then backwards. Okay, so you got one crazy pick, and then HD with the unhingedness, because that's just normal for Kentucky, I guess. But we're gonna be following this one. Rigged against me, I picked 2 good maps. Give me a chance on map 5. Picking the backwards versus Mika is bold. Mika was like iffy from what I saw in the qualifiers. Like he had some rounds that were insanely good and some rounds that were kind of dicey, or he'd crash. So we'll have to see. Lobbies still are not up. I think we're just waiting on that. So yeah. Purple in Twitch chat. What else could I have chosen? Who knows, man? Who knows? Just be glad we don't have an ice map. that would, the day we have an ice map. Your picks are so boring. What's the correct picks against Mika? He doesn't really have any weaknesses per se. He's just a good player and just happens to be like the ice god. Okay, here we go. The lobbies are in fact up. Gonna be hopping into that. Let me just send us in game. Do this. Do this. Fix the scoreboard while they do the warm-up. Now's your chance, dummy. 4th time is the charm. They are both on the same team. Okay, he's already changed, so they're good. We are pretty much good to go from here. We're just waiting for the warm-up to be done. Just make sure, yep, okay, they're all set. They're all good to go. And I believe this is live. Warm-up's done. He hits the wall, okay, blame Blender. Although he's gaining dangerously fast. Dummy with an extremely outside line, which is not the way you want to go here. Heave already overtakes. That did not take very long whatsoever. And he's now like a second ahead. I don't even know. Like, what are you supposed to do? Okay, well, Dummy, you're now like a full second behind, so get better. Just take the inside lines. Heave 1.1 seconds faster than Dummy. Okay, they're currently asking if they're live. Okay, it looks like they're resetting then. Yeah, they're resetting. There we go. Okay, this time for real. This time with feeling. Gonna watch Dummy. He's obviously the slower player here. Going for much more outside lines. You can certainly see like he's not cutting half as close, especially in this turn where he just like full sends it inside, less than a car length away from the blender blob rocks that you see dotted everywhere. Dummy getting dangerously close. He has a lot of speed. Is he going to be able to overtake? No, never mind. That was the warm-up. Okay. This time for realsies, with even more feeling. Heave, okay, no, I thought he crashed out. He has like a very consistent line here. I thought he crashed, that's how inside he went. Dummy gets a little bit of an awkward line there, has to oversteer on the penalty sand, which as you can imagine just utterly destroys his speed. Gets a lot... Never mind. Okay. That's gonna be the first round of heat. And yeah, it's no point. Doesn't get anything for finishing second. You ain't first, you're last. Again, folks, this is going to be first to 5 per map. Except this... Would you let me finish my sentence before you crash? Please. Except this time around it's going to be first to 3 maps. Instead of first to 2. Like it was in the quarterfinals. Grand finals will also be first to 4. We'll worry about that when we get there. Dummy, yeah, he might as well not be in this round. Okay, so he was just kind of vibing at this point. Still playing the exact same line, no point in not risking. Eve immediately goes up 2-0. Still plenty of opportunities for Dummy to come back, but I mean, he's gotta send it. And going the outside line there is not the way. That is also not the way. He kind of did the complete opposite extremes there in the exact wrong way. So yeah, it's gonna be Heave just running away with this one. I feel like Heave and Marius are probably the only two that actually like this map because I've seen them pick it a lot. Of course, it is going out of the map pool after this week, if I'm not mistaken, so you can only abuse the Kekel map a little bit longer. I don't actually know if this is Kekel, but it feels like it. Certainly feels like something they would make and play. Yeah, about a 3-second difference, 2.5 seconds, really. Not much more to say, you just gotta wait for the next map almost, because Heave's up 3-0. Just gotta survive 2 more rounds, and that's a bonk from Dummy. Not the worst place to bonk, but, yeah. He's oversteering everywhere, crashing here and there, he's just a mess. Well, unless he can get an Uber bug to the next checkpoint, I don't think he's going to be catching up anytime soon. Nah, it's going to be Heave running away with it. One more. And then he is off to... What was the other map pick? Scorpion? No, it was Grippy. Yeah, Grip. Easy version of Grip. Which is a completely unhinged pick, but hey, who knows. I don't actually remember if Heath played World Tour that much, so Dummy might actually have an advantage there. It's hard to say. We'll see, I guess. It's coming up next. But yeah, I mean, this map is extremely one-sided. There's only so much to say. The closest dummy got was like 1.1 seconds away. Now 0.9 away. So yeah, that was a quick 5-0. That's going to be Heave going up 1 point. Heading over to the easy version of Grip. And if there were ever a time for Dummy to actually pull up, it would be now. Got a brief warm-up, and we're not going to cast this time around. I don't remember too many of even like the pros playing this map. I felt like they generally tried to avoid Grip, aside from like Big. I remember Masa loving to play this map. But otherwise, I don't know if many people really played Grip all that much. But, as it currently stands, they're neck and neck. Dummy taking the lead just a little bit to start things off. Promising. Heave going for a very aggressive, I don't know what you call that, upwards approach in the plastic. Doesn't really seem to do much. And for the outside dirt, but Dummy gets it just as well. Heave setting up for the water. But Dummy seems to have the line down. Heave goes a little bit outside, but Dummy takes a lot of penalties, so Heave, now currently in the lead, Dummy has to push it in order to claim the win here on this round. They are neck and neck. This is the closest we've seen them so far, but they're both getting the identity extremely clean, and Heave takes it by just about, what's that, 0.6-ish? 0.7-ish? Or sorry, 0.07, I should say. Ridiculously close round. So if there were ever a map for Dummy to claim, it would be this one, but he's gonna have to win 5 rounds still. He's 4 away from claiming it and going up to match points. I think it's a very low jump there. Takes the lead just a little bit, but I think he clipped the outside dirt wall. Not the worst crash in the world, but it does leave him a little bit behind. He has a very clean approach into the water, though. I think he has the better line. If he can avoid too much penalty sand this time around, they are once again neck and neck in the identity. Dummy going dangerously high on the 2 wheels, but he keeps it clean. He's really pushing, and Dummy can't quite keep it on the track. I think if he could have kept it alive, then he probably could have taken that round. He was really forcing Heave to push on that one. Looks like update from the other semifinals. Mika takes the first one. Still has 2 more to go, though. Not even quite on match point. Dummy for a very interesting plastic line there. I haven't seen it quite yet. I've been following Heave every single time. I'll follow him next round just to see. That was a very aggressive and obviously very successful plastic line. He bumps the exact same wall again. This time he's even further behind from Heave. He's gonna have to push it, but he seems to have the identity down. Dummy normally does, but he just kind of slid off the edge, so he can take it a little bit easier. That's going to be on Dummy's map pick. He goes up 3-0. It's not looking too hot here. Maybe 4th time isn't the charm. Can we play backwards next and then your map? Oh dear. Alright, let's take a look at Dummy's plastic line here, because I found this You know, he's pushing it too much. So, okay. Goes up, and then a lot further down than Heave did, but he's like 5 seconds behind. Oh, good. You know, at least he didn't bonk the wall this time around, but that's the least of his problems. Where? Okay, yeah, he was just vibing. Dummy is in the mud. Yeah, there's only so much to say here, folks. Okay, there's a chance. Not a big one though. He makes it through the identity, and that's gonna be Dummy coming on through. 4-0. Dummy is really good at the game, yes, but Heave is even better, as it turns out. That's going to be map points, not quite match points. Remember, this is a first to 3 this time around. Maybe, you know, hit the checkpoint. Looks to be the case. Maybe we can have a little bit of a reverse sweep here on grip. Who knows? Dummy not quite going for the aggressive plastic line this time around. Goes for a much lower jump. Doesn't hit the dirt line. Or the dirt wall, I should say. Heave falls a little bit behind. I don't know what just happened, but he took a little bit of air. Must have bounced out of the water. Yep, jump. Okay, well. Dummy, please. It's handed to you on a silver platter. Don't screw it up now. Reverse sweep incoming? Maybe? Surely? Four to 1. Dummy's still fighting for his life here. Goes a little bit higher on the quarter pipe, half pipe, I don't know. Quarter pipe, we'll say. Where is Dummy? Okay, he's trailing a little bit behind. Heave actually going for Dummy's aggressive plastic line there. Dummy going for a very low jump. You could see it gains him a lot of speed. Will he be able to survive? He doesn't touch the wall this time, so he's gaining on Heave just a little bit. Heave goes for a very interesting water line. He's turning a little bit too much. I think that's what loses him quite a bit of speed. But Dummy has been known to risk just a little bit too much on the identity here, so we'll see. Keeping it clean so far. The pressure is not quite on, but he got really far. Oh no, he was going to be able to snipe it away. Dummy took it a little bit too on the outside. He had it in the palm of his hand, but he lost it. They're actually going to skip to the backwards map. Heave currently up 2-0. Just needs one more map, and he will be moving on to the grand finals with a guaranteed at least $30 US. Although if history is anything to go off of, he might be going for that 70 once again. Backwards map, here and now. Both players agreed. I couldn't care less. This is probably Dummy's best opportunity to stay alive in the series. Famous last words. Got a little bit of warm up here, and then we're good to go. And you do need quite a lot of speed in that water bounce to avoid the clip there onto the dirt block, or the beginning of the dirt block, I should say. But here we go, this time for real, and Heave is on match point. It's do or die for Dummy. You know, every time I say something like that, he crashes. I don't even know what to say anymore. You just need to hope Heave crashes, and I feel like you have a better chance of seeing God at this point. So, we'll see. Stay on board with Heave, because this entire round hinges on him more than anyone else. Makes it through. Land bug? Who knows? Okay, well, Dummy's not even going to be finishing this round, so... Actually, that might have been a land bug. Hard to say. Okay, well, that's a thing if I ever saw one. Must have hit at the exact border between the two roadblocks, and they must be custom roadblocks, because I know that happens every now and then. But only for custom blocks. Heave trailing just by a little bit, but nothing too bad quite yet. Can certainly make it back up if Dummy land bugs again. Doesn't seem to be the case, and Heave gets a really awkward bounce. He has to respawn. It's basically free low for Dummy. All he needs to do is aim. Dummy, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Heave DNF'd, so it doesn't really matter. But if he didn't DNF, there was a chance. There was a chance that he could have taken that round. Never DNF, folks. Unless he was taking pity on Dummy, which, I mean, at this point, fair. But I don't know if he quite needs it on this map. Dummy going for a more outside approach to begin that turn. Heave going for the end of the turn outside. Dummy going dangerously outside, but he does keep it stable. Heave has better SDs in the dirt. Heave going very wide into the jump this time. He does not want to clip and have to DNF. Dummy, aim. Looks good. He's going to be claiming that first place, second point per se. So he's in the lead for the first time. And yeah, sure enough, Dummy leads pretty demandingly in the beginning. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing. I guess he's just sliding less. He goes like up to begin and then down and then back up again and then down and then back up. Yeah, and he's like, what, 10th or 2 ahead of Eve? 3/10? That's not too shabby. It's a very risky line though, because he's getting dangerously close to clipping. But it's putting him ahead. Dummy though, I think he's gonna have to respawn. Now he doesn't respawn, but Heave, if he can keep it clean, the aim seems to be good. He'll be claiming that point. No, he's not making that. Oh, there's a safe finish. I didn't even know there was a safe finish. Purple takes round 2, 1-1. Interesting. Although I think Purple was 4th place in the seedings, right? Yeah, he had to be because we watched his... Yeah. So, if anyone was going to, it was probably going to be Purple. Oh, Dummy. That's not the line. That's kind of what I mean by his beginnings. It's kind of easy to get off track, and now Heave pretty far ahead. And it's only going to get worse. That's a bad respawn. He's going to have to reset entirely. Heave can just walk this one in. Actually take the lead once again in this map. 3-2. It's close, for sure. They're giving us a show. As it currently stands, methinks Dummy is looking a little bit worse for wear. Backwards no slides are insane. Potentially 2 more rounds to close it out if you're Heave. Dummy going for his line. He has a lot of speed, but I think Heave is starting to catch on. He's keeping it a lot closer this time around. Neither of them slide out. Both get the SDs, but I think Dummy got a little bit better that time around. Heave has a little bit more speed, maybe like 1 or 2 more, but that might be all he needs. Neck and neck coming into the finish. Is Dummy going to be able to overtake? I don't think he will, and it will be decided there. Just 500ths apart. Best round we've seen all series. The Heave now on match point. All he needs. is to get that first place once again. And he will punch his ticket over to the grand finals. Trailing by a little bit, but I think he has more speed. He hits the flat part of the uphill faster. Dummy coming in with a lot of speed, however. Does overtake just briefly. It might be another good round, but he bounces. That's going to be... Oh, he fully resets as well, so that's going to be Heave walking away with it. Surely. Oh, it got close. That is going to be that Heave coming in with the 3-0. Fourth time was not the charm. But we're going to hide this real quick. Hide the leaderboard. We're going to head over to the other lobby because it sounds like a banger from what I've heard. Sounds to be 1-1. Purple versus Mika, last week's champion. And looks like they just started. I'm assuming, would this be map 4 or map 3? I would need an update, but as far as I know, the score is 1-1. Okay, it is map 3, so they just started. I'm going to try and update the leaderboard. Bear with me, folks, while they are playing. I'm going to try and cast a little bit based off of what I'm seeing on OBS, but does look like Mika is in the lead right now, going up to the finish, and if I remember, both of them did pretty well leading into the qualifiers with this map. There we go, scoreline is updated. But Mika takes the lead. Purple must have crashed somewhere. But, all things considered, if it's 1-1, looks like it might be a little bit of a banger here. Mika takes a little bit of a better dirt approach there, so Purple already trailing. It's a bit of an awkward landing there. It's going to be losing even more time just here and there. Keeping it clean, they don't touch the outer wall of the dirt. Coming into the pool border section, seem to be remaining about the same distance away, about that, 3 to 4 tenths. Purple is going to have to oversteer just a little bit, and this is the final approach. While it was a closer round than last time, Mika is going to be running away with that once again. It's bad mapping. Shut up, dummy. You only get to trash the mappers if you win. You gotta be Heave first. Either way, Mika up 2-0 on this map, 1-1 in the series. Great slide cancellation there from Purple, but it looks like Mika with the outside line, it's a lot more speed from it. Your quantum slides will only bring you so far. As Purple is now discovering a little bit of lag there. I hope everything's okay on Purple's end. Well, obviously not quite so okay. A little bit of rubber banding. Purple doesn't quite have the line. You can see Mika now with a 41. I think that's the fastest time he's driven thus far, at least from what we've seen. They had to restart the first round because... Oh, unfortunately, that would also explain why they're only on the third map now. So hopefully they're doing okay in terms of internet. As you can see, Mika 3-0 on this map. First 5 again, and Mika would be on match points if he wins this. But he clips the wall just a little bit, and you can see Purple gaining. Not the worst acceleration penalty, but Purple doesn't quite have the best line here. He seems to be getting it a little bit better this time around. He has a lot of speed, but he takes it a little bit too outside. Will he be able to keep it clean to the finish? Just barely. Both within a tenth of each other, which is a crazy round. Purple keeping himself alive. Oh, but then immediately into the next round, first to last, just like that. I don't know if that still applies. Mika with about a second lead, and Purple definitely pushing to get it back, but there's only so much map remaining. It's not exactly the longest map in the pool, and the rubber banding probably isn't helping him all that much. Does get a decent line, and Mika has to oversteer just a little bit. Purple looking for speed, but he's not going to be able to find it quite the way he needs it. Going to still remain about almost exactly 3/10 behind Mika. Up to 4 points, one more round on this map, and he should be able to bring it up to a 2-1 in the series. And already Mika starts off the map with a little bit of a lead. Just a couple of tenths, but we've seen Purple gain that back before. That's not the best of lines, and he touches the wall just a tiny little bit. He's not going to be able to gain too much from the risk. Coming into the final approach, Purple going up on the hill, doesn't quite find the speed though. That's going to be Mika closing out the map, going up 2-1. He is now on match point, but still one more map to go. And we'll have to see what the next map is. This is the backwards map, right? Oh dear. Well, I guess this map was just okay. A little bit of shaking. Hopefully that remains in the warm-up and not so much in rounds. Well, here we go. This is going to be Purple fighting for his tournament life. He's to win the next 2 maps in order to remain in it. But almost immediately falls about half a car length behind Mika. Keeping it rather clean in the uphill. But Mika setting up for a wider approach into the turn. Purple with one hell of a turn though. That was a lot of speed coming into it. Can he keep it clean here? Avoid the bounce. He does so, and Mika fighting it out. He has a lot of speed coming into the downhill though, and I think he will be able to claim it. There's not really much overtaking that can be done there in that final line. 1/10 separating them. That was one hell of a round, back and forth. What a way to start that out. But if you're Purple, not exactly the way you wanted to start your potentially final map. They are neck and neck though. They have completely different lines, it seems. But they trade blows, basically on every single checkpoint. Mika going for a little bit of a different approach. This time around, Purple slides out. Mika keeps it clean enough. Doesn't quite have as much speed as he did last time around, but he doesn't need it. Purple, almost 4 seconds behind. Mika just needs to keep it clean, which, I mean, doesn't quite have the angle, but he should be able to salvage that in the up ramp, and sure enough, he does. Not the fastest time, but good enough. That's going to be Mika going up 2-0, just 3 more rounds, and he's in the grand finals with Heath. Once again, we go into the fray. Mika 2-0. Goes for a very inside approach, leading into the dirt turn there. And Purple goes very low to then go up high rather quickly. Seems like Mika gets the better of it though. No slide outs this time around. Mika goes extremely wide, but you can see the speed. He's just pulling away constantly from Purple. I didn't even know you could hit that. I don't know if Purple knew you could hit that, to be honest with you. And Mika coming into the final approach. Unfortunate turn of events there. I think if the sign wasn't there, then, you know, maybe Purple could have just landed it with a lot more speed, but the mapper said no. 38.6. Chat, you'll have to tell me what the world record is on this. Because that looks fast to me, but I don't have the records up or anything. Oh dear. Okay. World record is a 0.2. Jeez. It looks like Mika trailing just a little bit behind. Purple, he's somewhere up in the lead, but his car doesn't really want to be. Okay, well that's probably going to be around for Purple. Not the cleanest of landings, but he doesn't need it to be. Just needs to survive this, which he does have the speed to make it up. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, well Mika DNF'd. Okay, well, that could have been a worse disaster than it ended up being. But we got there eventually. We got to the finish line. Purple remains in the running for now. Mika is not on map and match point quite yet. Just on match point. A little bit of sliding from both of them, so they lose out on some potential speed. It's like a train wreck in slow motion. See if they can avoid any XDDing this time around. Purple gets whipped around the corner there. Mika not quite so much speed out of it. Oh, he almost makes the same mistake again. Goes for a very high approach. Purple with a little bit of a bounce, so he loses a ton of speed, and it looks like Mika should be able to secure this win. The aim is good. That's going to be Mika now on match and map point. One more round. And that's going to be it. Mika just about locking it in. Some guaranteed prize money if he can secure this round. And okay. Yeah, Purple is basically out of it. Unless Mika hard crashes like 2 or 3 times. But yeah, I mean, even still, he's like 4 seconds behind. So, it's looking like GG's, folks. The aim is good. The time is honestly pretty good as well. That is going to be Mika versus Heave in the grand finals. GG's to Purple. Put up a really good fight, genuinely. But that's going to be that. That is all she wrote. Now, we do have a few moments to wait for the map choices and whatnot. The not so much pick and ban, but just picks from Heave and Mika. I'm gonna send it over to the Discord window, and I'm actually gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna have to go AFK for just one moment. So at the very least, I'll wait for this to get set up so you chat can at the very least watch the map picks. Gotta run downstairs real fast and check on something. But I can set you up with the view of what they'll be choosing. Just gotta wait. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, I will be right back, folks. You can discuss the map picks amongst yourselves. All right, we are back. Let's see. So we have Eve, unsurprisingly, picks Chris Four Seasons. We have Mika contemplating the next pick. The backwards? Okay. Heave gets the next map pick. Just setting up the scoreboard off to the side while they're doing that, so we can just hop straight into it when they are ready. There we go, Heave. Going for Rattlesnake. Little bit of a transitional tech map, I suppose. Maybe we'll see the cut. Heave wins. So we do have the potential, if it goes the full distance, that we see all the maps. Or no, sorry, we'll see all but one of the maps. That's correct. Right. Entanglement, okay. Got 2 more picks, and then HD will give his tiebreaker pick if we get all the way to map 7. Entanglement type 1. Hey, at the very least, next weekend we'll have it in writing. So for the second Duo Cup, so we won't have a repeat of that. Okay, so we're gonna have Chris Four Seasons, the backwards map, Rattlesnake, Entanglement, easy version of Grip. Now Mika gets 1 more pick, and then HD will give his tiebreaker pick. Oh, that's dummy. I thought that was Mika. Kind of would have been funnier if it was Mika. Either way. Mika looking through, he's like, damn, I don't want to play any of these. We got all the normal maps out of the way. I guess besides the Chris in the backwards, but Mika's been pretty consistent in the backwards one, so I don't blame him. And he was just extremely consistent on the Chris Four Seasons one. I don't think that's an NCSA thing. I don't know. I've seen Europe and whatnot use it, less than us for sure, but NCSA definitely overuses it. Scorpion, okay, and then HD will give us the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we're just waiting on HD to decide between the last 2, which would be Verdant Grasslands and I forget, but it doesn't matter because Verdant Grasslands is going to be the tiebreaker if we get that far. All right, Hypnotoad, right. Either way, we got the map picks. Going to be checking real quick to see if the Grand Finals room is open. It is not quite yet. Verdant Grasslands goes out this week. Yes, it does. I can actually show that. If I just scroll up here, Verdant Grasslands and Chris Four Seasons are going out after this week, and then 2 new maps will come in. So he won't have his pocket pick anymore. But pretty much just waiting on the Grand Finals room to open. There it is. Gonna be hopping straight into it. It's loading. And there we go. Heave versus Mika. Heave has less garbage he can throw at me. Listen, dummy. You chose the easy version of Grip in the backwards map. I ain't worse than anyone, dummy. I'm spectating. Backwards and grip are sick. No, you're sick in the head for picking them. There's a difference. Acting like there won't be more garbage coming. So we're just waiting on Heave now, which, if I check the Discord. Okay. Yeah, we're pretty much just waiting on Heave to hop in. And keep in mind, folks, this is a first to 4 now, so we've got quite a few maps ahead of us. Mika just using the time to practice now. Which, I mean, he's certainly going to need it because Heave is here and now, and this is his map pick, and it's really been his pocket pick. Like, the only other person I can think of that's come close to Heave on this map has been Marius, which obviously he's not here right now. But even then, Heave has like gotten the better of Marius in the past, so it's gonna be a bit dicey. It really will be. I think Mika did reasonably well. He was pretty consistently, I think, just behind Heave, but Heave's lines are just disgusting. So I think we're just going to be waiting for a reset and then we'll be good to go. There we go. Vote to reset. Went through. Got a brief 30-second warm-up. And then we're going into it for real. You can see them just practicing little by little, and Heave's lines are still just disgusting. Like, I don't think very many people who have played this tournament could hit those lines. And obviously he's been playing a good number of these tournaments as well, so it's gonna be a bit more rough because this is only the second time that Mika has participated in this. Currently, both of these players have a 100% win rate. Steve didn't play last week when Mika did. So one of them is going to be dethroned as the lossless. But, unsurprisingly, Heave taking up the lead just by a little bit. Mika keeping it close though, coming out of the penalty section into the regular dirt. Anti-boosters not really doing too much to change. Mika going for a more inside approach. Is he going to be able to snipe it away? He does by 1/100th. Holy hell. What a round. On Heave's pocket pick too. That's a statement opener if I've ever seen one. Now, back into the fray we go. Mika a little bit in the lead this time around. Maybe Heave doubting himself when realistically it was just that final approach that he was struggling on. Went a little bit too outside. Mika really risked it for the biscuit. Heave going very inside now. You can see he wants that revenge. Almost getting airtime there, at least with the front right wheel right there. And Mika will be claiming yet another round, a little bit less close this time around by about half a second separating them. Mika up 2-0 on Heave's map. Not just his map pick, but like this is the map that he's been the most dominant on. Actually, from the looks of it, according to Dummy in chat, what Mika just drove is almost his PB. Which is pretty damn impressive, quite frankly. But this time around, the table... Wait, what? What just happened? He just... like, he land bugged without landing, so Mika's gonna take that one. I don't even know what happened. He must have clicked somewhere. So Up the names? No. He definitely has the better approach in the beginning, but Mika seems to catch up a lot more as we start to hit like this turn and thereabouts. He's really going inside there, even more than Heave, but that's because Heave was going more inside the previous lines. Okay. That was anticlimactic, to say the least. There's not really much more that Heave can do to screw that up, so he's gonna finally get a point on the board. It would have been a closer round if the clip didn't get. I don't even know if you call it a clip. That's just a bonk at that point. Heave beat Mika's PB. Yeah, I mean that's to be expected. His world record, according to Dummy, is 0.3 faster than Mika's PB, who is, you know, he's second on this map in the world. Where is Mika, by the way? Oh, he's a little bit further back. I heard him a little bit closer, but must have fallen behind just a little bit. He's risking it now with more inside approach, setting up for a very inside line here. He wants to snipe it away, but I don't think Heave is going to let him. That's going to be about 1/10, give or take. About a tenth and a half away. He's starting to climb his way back up. It's 3-2 in favor of Mika still, but you gotta get that 5 points. Heave, I think he actually even hit the brake there to get around the corner sooner. Whatever speed he lost from tapping the brake didn't really matter if he's gonna hit the booster in just a moment. And you can see he's what, 0.3 ahead of Mika. Mika's not doing bad this round either, but Heave going for 0.34. Sorry, 0.35. Disgustingly fast, faster than Mika's PB, from what I can tell, or at least in rounds. Although Heave falls a little bit further behind here. I don't know if he clipped or Mika just got a better line for one turn. Heave definitely has a better line now though. Mika trailing by just a little bit. He has a lot of speed coming into this and he's trying to set up for that inside approach. Trading blows back and forth, but Heave gets a little bit of airtime, but he's still in the running. He goes very wide though, and Mika should be able to take this cleanly. 0.325. I believe that's going to be a new PB for Mika as well. Yes, it most certainly is. Getting dangerously close. You can't help but wonder what he was doing, no, what he could have done in the previous round if he hadn't clipped, because he was on one hell of a run. Could have been like a 0.2. But now, it's probably going to be lucky if he can hit a 34. That is likely going to be that first map going the way of Mika. Yeah, and sure enough, that's going to be it. Mika, 1-0 so far. Can he dethrone Heave? Or was this just a speed bump along the way? Well, we're going to have to see, because the next map is backwards, and keep in mind, this was Heave's map pick, so this is going to be Mika now on his map pick. Did get a little bit dicey versus purple, but who's to say? Both seem to be rather neck and neck in the warm-up for now. Similar line as well. Although Mika goes up much sooner, I would assume that's just to flatten out and get better speed, not fight with the uphill. Be interesting to see how they stack up against each other in these clean rounds, although this map oftentimes doesn't quite tend to produce clean rounds, so we'll have to see. Mika going for a very inside approach there, and Heave actually crashes out, so it's going to be Mika taking an early lead in the series. Takes a little bit of a longer time getting up the hill. Loses a tiny bit of speed because of it, but Heave is still about 3 seconds behind, so it's really just going to be up to Mika to fail something here. Just doesn't really seem like it's going to be happening. Mika's on one hell of a time. Looks nice and clean as long as he has the aim, which I don't think he's really had a problem with that. It was more Dummy and Heave that were having difficulties there, and yeah, I don't think Heave will be able to finish the map. I might be able to, it's just for consolation prize, I suppose. One buzzer beater will make it through with a 10-second gap, 10.5 seconds. Who would ever have aim problems on this map? I wonder. Heave this time around keeps it clean. See what they can actually do. Mika going for that early uphill this time around. Now that there's some more pressure on him. Both cancel the slide out pretty early on. Neck and neck, just about the same speed. Mika maybe a tire length ahead of Heave for now. Heave going a little bit down. Okay, well, Mika decided to go to the stratosphere. Had to respawn. Well, not quite what we were expecting, but it works, I suppose. 1-1 currently on the map. Mika with a very clean outside dirt line there. Gets a good amount of distance away from Heave. Of course, anything can happen here. Heave going for a much wider approach. You can see Mika has a lot more speed and is still pulling away just slightly. Going for the lower jump Heave is, but he gets the bounce. That's going to be Mika, as long as he doesn't do any more flying. And he should be getting through here nice and clean. That's going to be going up 2-1 over Heave. For how close this map is, you'd almost forget that it was Mika's pick. Well, I say that, and right now, Mika trailing by a good amount. I don't think he quite had the right line going there. Heave going for the quick uphill as well. He looks to have plenty of speed coming into it. It's really just going to be on Heave to make a mistake here. But no, he's going extremely high. Hits the sign. Mika not exactly having the cleanest roundabout in the grass either. But it's good enough. And Heave, for what could have been potentially a new PB for him, is having to deal with a 3-1 deficit here on the 23 backwards. He's really got to get his head in the game. Mika, you can see the extra speed he gets by getting up to the flat part of the uphill faster. Has to avoid the slide out. Does so. Actually, you can see he has quite a bit more speed on top of Heave. Goes just under the little billboard. Taking a very clean line into the grass, and it looks like that's going to be it. Mika, 4-1 currently on this map, so Heave's going to have to almost reverse sweep if he's going to want to come back and avoid going down 2-0. Now keep in mind, this is first to 4, so it's not the end of the world even if he does lose this map, but you don't want to rely on map 6, you know, or potentially even map 7. You really just want to close it out faster. How close are I was gonna say, they feel like they're neck and neck, but Mika definitely got the better of the water bounce. They're maybe a little bit too good, because he had too much speed, slides out, smacks into the wall, and it's just heave. Gets a little bit of a plastic bounce, but he should be able to stabilize. Should be able to stabilize. Please, someone. Okay, we're good here. Heave got it. It wasn't clean, but he got it. That's good, GR, please. 4-2 currently. He's still playing for his life. He got a lot more speed out of that first little plastic. Not exactly sure how he did it, but he did. Mika going again for the very aggressive uphill. Definitely seems to give him a lot of speed, but last time it was too much speed and he slid out, so we'll have to see Heave keeping it close. Both going for the low jump. I think Mika gets it just a little bit better. Heave has to set up. Has a tiny bit more speed, but I don't think there's much ground to overtake, and that will be Mika going up 2-0. Again, first to 4, so we're not on match point yet, but it's getting dicey. Flip the names, all right. All right. Off to, what is this? This was Rattlesnake. Curious to see if he was going to go for the cut. He's the only other person I've seen go for it, and even he said he only went for it once in qualifiers. Practicing it now. You certainly do need the practice if you're going to do it. And he gets it in the warm-up. Got it once in the qualifier. But can he do it in rounds? Will he be able to do it in rounds? Will he need to do it in rounds? That remains to be seen. He's a little bit in the lead. Neck and neck though, so if there were ever a time to set up for it, I think he's going for it. He is, but he gets into a little bit of an awkward line, has to respawn. And Mika, that's the danger. If you fail the cut, that's going to be basically the round done and dusted. Keep in mind, Mika is up 2-0, so how much is the risk worth it? Because he was just barely ahead. They were neck and neck. But if Heave is confident that he can play better, he's confident he can just play better in the normal rounds without the cut. Is it worth going for? Who knows? Like, obviously it gives a good advantage if you get it clean, but getting it clean is pretty rough. Oh, this is Pro's map. That's funny. I didn't even realize. Well, there you go. Heave going for the cut. He does get it this time around, but you can see he doesn't quite have as much speed as he would like. Mika slowly catching up. Not a ton remaining of the map, but if anyone can catch up, it's gonna be Mika. No, surely. Heave takes it. 39.1, almost 38. What is the world record on this map, by the way? I'm just asking dummy. He seems to be the one on top of the numbers provided. 38.7-ish, I believe that. Mika with a very interesting... Huh? What? Huh? Excuse you? This is one of the rounds ever, but Mika seems to be running away with two completely different crashes, but Mika at the very least is gonna be able to walk away with this one. I don't see any major crashes happening from here on out. he was going to have to push it to hell and back, and even then I don't see Mika really giving up too much purchase. He's right there. Yeah. 43.9. It works. It works. Oh dear. Yeah, this is the grand finals, by the way, folks. If you're just tuning in, it's first to 4. Mika currently up 2-1 on this map. Up 2-0 in the series. That's just this map in a nutshell. It's not easy to take these transitions. It's not easy to get it clean. Is he going to go for the cut? He will. Did he get it clean? I think he did. As you can see, he loses a lot of speed, so he needs to stabilize. So Mika is crashing. Okay, yeah, so the cut paid off that time around. Oh dear. Well, we're tied up on this map. Even with the cut, heave about a second off of world record there. Oh goodness. What is happening? This map is just a clown fiesta. Bro, I hope you're laughing at every single one of these cuts because it is hilarious. It's sadistic. Eve might have to go for the cut this time around, but he doesn't land it particularly well, and Mika even gets the next checkpoint faster. That's going to be pretty much gifting Mika another round win. He didn't really lose half the speed that Eve did. Takes it nice and clean. 39.6. Pretty darn good time, all things considered. Wasn't the cleanest run, but a lot faster than I thought he was gonna get it. The cut sucks, let me fix it please. Unfortunately, probably not gonna happen. Eve going for the cut once again. Seems to get it clean enough. Mika now trailing by about, 3/4 of a second now, a full second. There's really only so much more that can go wrong. Heave 39.1, pretty darn fast, if I do say so myself. And we're tied up once again, 3-3. They're just trading blows back and forth on this map, and that's kind of what you need if you're Eve. You need to close it out and get a map under your belt. Let's take a look at Heave. Seems to be going for the cut pretty consistently, because when he can get it without any issues, it is pretty darn consistent. This time he got it really clean. Yeah, he gained a full second off of that. He was only like less than a tenth ahead of Mika previously, and now Mika's gaining a little bit. Heave stabilized pretty darn fast. .39 flat. It's getting faster and faster. Well, it's not quite world record. He just needs one more, and then he's back in it. He'll force us to at least a map 5. I find that beginning jump very interesting for Mika. He's forcing the back wheel to hit the sausage and force his front wheel down sooner. It seems to help a little bit, but his lines leading up to this section aren't quite as good. Heave, I think, full crashed. Yeah, so that's going to be Mika tying it up 4-4 more than likely, unless there's a catastrophe somewhere later in the map, but there's only so much more that can go wrong. We kind of passed all the treacherous parts. And Shirley, 39.9. Not too shabby. Eve didn't even bother. I mean, at that point, you know you lost. But now it is do or die. This is the last round of the map. Mika didn't quite get the nose down trick as much as he wanted. I think he even clipped, so this might just be handed to Heave on a silver platter. Does he know? Does he play with ghosts? Does he play with the UI? Does he still want to go for the cut? No, he does not. He certainly knows that Mika failed. Well, Well, he is gaining a little bit. He was pretty safe up in the lead right now. It would take a crash from him for Mika to catch back up. So, all he needs to do is hit this moderately clean, which he does. 39.7. That's going to be Heave taking a point of his own. Here in the series, we're guaranteed to see map 5. Next map is, let me check the thing. HD's Entanglement. Relatively tame map. Peepo, France. Hey, we might be based in North America as a tournament, but it's open to everyone. It's actually nice to cast an event that's not exclusively NCSA, although I do love our own regions. A certain level of chaos that you can't find anywhere else. But it's nice to see some players from other regions as well. See the warm-up here. I'd imagine this map is going to be rather close. There's not too many fancy tips or tricks that these players can do. It's just clean driving. Heave getting a better look at the tree. Hopefully keeps it in warm-up. Doesn't need to be that well acquainted in the rounds. Now the better question. Who's better on dirt? The Ice God? Or the absolute warlord of this event thus far? Oh dear, well that's an awkward landing, so he's going to be losing a little bit of purchase there. Mika keeping it less than clean. He was keeping it less than clean as well. They both clipped the wall in different sections. So we're right back to square one. Mika is still in the lead by about 0.3 to 0.5, give or take. But Mika, unless he utterly fails to finish, which no he does not, thankfully, he's going to be taking that first point. What a round. What a map. One of the rounds of all time, I would agree. But I guess that's what you see with this kind of map. It's, again, not exactly the most difficult, not the trickiest. So these players are going to force each other to push as hard as possible, and that comes with mistakes. Heave going for a very low line, does tap the wall just a little bit. Mika gets dangerously close to doing the same, but keeps it clean. Has a pretty clean line here. Heave, I think, taps the wall there. Should still stay in that second place. .508 world record. Well, I've seen Mika get pretty dangerously close to that then, within a few hundredths. Actually, Mika getting close to his own PB then as well. This time around, Mika getting close to the wall, but keeps it clean. Heave in the lead this time. Mika is up 2-0 on this map so far. Heave with a little bit of a bump, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be losing too much speed from it. Mika going for the wider line, trying to get more speed, but I don't think it's going to quite work. 41.6, and then a 0.7 for Mika. Heave will get a point to his name. I'm sure he'd like to get 4 more and then tie up the series. But baby steps, we'll get there in due time if Heave wills it. Currently is in the lead just a little bit. Mika hot on his tail. Heave definitely goes for a much lower line in that sausage jump. Seems to pay off with a little bit more speed. But it is, of course, consistently riskier than like what Mika's doing, where he stays a little bit further up towards the middle section. Mika trying to overtake, but doesn't quite. He does? Oh no, Heave clipped. He clipped. Oh no. Oh no. Unbelievable. Mika up 3-1 so far. That ending is treacherous, man. I gotta say, Jinx probably should have made a safe finish as well. Because that is not particularly safe in any regard, but yeah. Only so much you can do there. You need the right speed, the right angle to avoid clipping like that. Very close round we have on our hands right here though. Heave just barely in the lead. Wants to maintain just a little bit more speed than he did last time. Mika gets a little bit of a clip there. And Heave will steal this round away. Mika hot on his heels though. There is a safe. Where's the safe? There's a safe? Where is it? Is it just like way off to the right hand side? Just like randomly? In the abyss. I'll have to take a look at that later. Right now he is trailing by just a little bit, and actually Mika's now going for that lower line. Does hit the outside wall though, so you can see he's losing quite a bit of space. He needs a bit of breathing room, which he certainly needs. I don't see Mika overtaking, barring a catastrophe here. Doesn't look like it. 41.6, rather consistent. Oh, it's way over there. Yeah, okay. That's not something I would ever see. Map is tied up once again. Well, 3-3 so far. I'm sure he would love to get those 5 points he needs on this map just to tie up the series as well. Okay, that's a bit of a no slide from Mika. Unfortunate, but not much you can do. He's not exactly the cleanest grass line, but it doesn't need to be because Mika's multiple seconds behind. 41.6. Once again, Heave constantly banging them out left and right. Now up to 4 versus Mika's 3. He just needs one more round. Perhaps saying, hey Mika, can you do that again? Or that. Clips a little bit and loses immediately like 2/10. He's gonna have to play catch up. Really just hope for Heave to make some kind of mistake, but Mika is the one who gets a little bit of airtime, more than he wanted. Heave keeping it clean in the outside dirt there. I didn't quite have the cleanest grass line here previous round, but that might change. Looks relatively clean, might have to oversteer just a little bit. Mika going for more speed, but I don't think he can overtake, and that's going to be Heave tying up the series. Another 41.6. Insert DJ Khaled meme. Gonna be Heave. Now 2-2. Coming back a little bit. Remember, Mika took the first 2 maps. Can we start making sure our maps are double respawnable? Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. Even as someone who's not actually playing the maps. Now over to the dummy map, even though he's not quite here. Now Heave, I know, has some level of experience in World Tour. I don't know if Mika played too much. I think he might have played like in the first stage a little bit. Someone will have to check that for me. I don't want to alt-tab and screw with the game sound. But I don't know how far Mika would have gotten in the qualifiers, or the you know what I mean, the regional stages. Or if he played that often. I'm pretty sure he played here and there, which would explain why he did so well against Dummy on this map. But I guess we'll see. Mika going a little bit higher, will get a little bit more speed out of it, but kind of evens out with the lower jump. He didn't go so low, but Mika did clip a little wedge there. He pretty much taken the free points here, you know, barring that anything can happen in the identity. It's been a while since I've casted maps with identities, but okay, we weren't even in the identity, and you're kidding me. You're kidding me. They both did the same thing, and now he, because he respawned, has better speed. Oh dear, what a catastrophe. And he has to know by this point, we know he plays with at least some HUD on, that he's got plenty of space, he doesn't have to risk it. His speed was not even close to sliding out, and sure enough, he gets the 59.2. He would have stayed ahead if he didn't respawn and Mika didn't bounce? I'm not sure. It's hard to say, because they did both bounce out. And Mika would have had a lot more speed, so it's really hard to say, because we saw the speed difference. As a player, I think he would have. It's hard to say. We don't know how much speed. Where is Mika? He's not too far behind. This time, no water bounces to be seen. Mika getting a little bit more slide in the dirt, though, which is obviously not quite what you want. Now, they are not quite neck and neck, but close enough that they are going to have to risk if they want to win this. Mika getting dangerously close to the edge, and Heave actually clips. Mika is going to be able to take this around. Unbelievable. Oh dear. Well, that is going to be now 1-1. Reminder that both of these players are technically undefeated, although Heave has gone undefeated for many more weeks of competing. Mika's only played last week and then now. Mika went for a very high jump on the quarter pipe. Didn't really get the speed to make up for the air time, as it were, so now he's trailing about 0.5 behind. Heave keeps the dirt line clean. No water shenanigans now. Both make it through the water cleanly enough into the identity with about 3/4 of a second separating the two. He doesn't quite need to risk this time around. He's a little bit further ahead, and surely he'll make this. Yep, that's a 53.1. Pretty darn good pace, if you ask me. Now Heave will take the lead on the map, but he does need 3 more rounds, so we're not going to be seeing the end of grip for at least a little while. Mika going for a less high jump this time around. Neck and neck with Heave. And for a very wide grass approach. And he gets the better of it for the time being, although Heave gets a much better plastic line, much less turning. No sliding on the plastic is OP, as it turns out. Heave coming in with a lot of speed, needs to avoid steering to avoid that water bounce. Mika sliding out a little bit on the penalty grass, and you can see he loses a bit of speed trying to risk now in the identity in order to gain it back, and he is gaining just a little bit. He's pushing it really hard, but a little bit too much. If only the pole wasn't there, then it would have been a much closer round, essentially separated by only hundredths, but it's going to be Heave taking an even more demanding lead. 3-1 on the map. Needs 2 more rounds like that. And then we'll be putting Heave on match point for starting off 0-2. Heave's looking pretty darn good now. Just took a little bit of warm up to get to that point where he could perform to this level once again. And actually, keep in mind, this is Heave's map pick as well. So he's expected to be more comfortable here. Oh, Mika touches the wall. He's going to lose quite a bit of speed. At least he doesn't have to worry about bouncing out of the water, but he does have to worry about Heave being, 2 seconds ahead. So we're going to watch Heave. Surely he knows that he doesn't need to risk the identity. And take it clean. Yeah, 190 low. That's not even close to risking it. Nice and clean. 53 flat. That's pretty darn good if you ask me. Now Heave on map point, with the potential of putting himself on match point and remaining the HD Weekly's warlord. Can anyone dethrone him? Well, it's probably not going to be Mika right now, as once again he hits that little wedge. But, okay. Suddenly, the tables have turned. The turntables, if you will. Mika in the lead by a good amount. Over a second now. Just needs to not bounce out of the water and take it nice and easy on the identity. I don't think Heave is gaining very much. It seems to have stabilized the gap at around 1.3 seconds, actually even further now, so Mika can totally take it nice and easy. Yeah, like low 190s, you're not going to be falling out with that. And sure enough, 55.9 is not the fastest time. But it's enough to keep him in the running here on the easy version of Grip. 4-2. Mika definitely has HUD off. Hard to say, but he was risking a few of those turns, so who knows. Maybe he's streaming right now, you could potentially check. I know Marius usually streams when he competes. And neither of them clip a little checkpoint, but I think Heave got a bit of an awkward landing. So Mika is back up in the race, 1,000 separating them, 1 millisecond. It's like 100th of the time it takes to blink for perspective. But now Heave in the lead, coming into the identity, and actually seems to be gaining a little bit. Separating the gap just a little bit more. He doesn't have to risk too much, and surely that will be the final round here. 53.3 to close it out. Not the fastest we've seen. It's going to be Heave going up to 3 points. He's won the last 3 maps, and he only needs one more. He said he plays HUD off in early. Okay, fair. But now, Heave only needs one more map. We're going to map 6. And this is Mika's choice as well. We're on Scorpion now, right? Scorpion? Yes, I always get Scorpion and Rattlesnake's names mixed up. But, Scorpion, it's just a good old-fashioned dirt map. Personally, I love it, but dirt's one of my favorite styles, so expect it. Mika seems to do reasonably well in a lot of these dirt sections, even on the previous maps. So I wonder if he'll bring us to a map 7. If we'll see verdant grasslands for the first time in the single eland bracket. At least on stream. I don't know what happened in the other quarterfinals matches. Even for dirt that sucks, that's not that bad. It's a good map. It's just normal dirt. It's a few turns that are tricky, but that's just skill issue. Either way, you can see Mika definitely taking the lead here. The Ice God is apparently also good at, I would say, the polar opposite of Ice. Oh, that little bounce looked like it might have been intentional, but it didn't really change the splits all that much. This is not normal, it's just low speed dirt with some rally blocks. I mean, like, I don't like rally blocks per se because they're all jagged in the walls, but Mika looking for an inside approach, but he doesn't quite get the speed out of it he wants. That's going to be Heave taking the first round. 56.0. That sounds fast. Can someone verify the world record? Either way, it seems like Mika gets better of Heave in the beginning portion of this map, and as it starts to go towards the middle is when Heave starts to take the lead. You can see he has a lot more speed. He's going for all, but he clips a little bit, so his inside line doesn't quite work out the way he wanted to. Mika has a .792. What, a 55.792? Either way, Mika is in the lead by about half a second. He was gonna really have to hope for a miracle. I'm not sure how much he has to gain. There's only a couple more turns remaining. Sure enough, yeah, it's only so much you can do, only so much you can risk with 56.2, getting even faster. Heave 56 or 55.625. Okay, there you go. 55.625. Well, the fastest we've seen so far is Heave in that first round with a 56 flat. So, still, a little bit less than half a second away from world record, but still very fast. You can't expect people to be doing world records in rounds, especially when these maps have been known for a while and people have practiced them for this tournament. I mean, keep in mind, both of these players are getting prize money. It's just a matter of whether you're getting $70 US or $30 US. So there is actually a reason to practice these maps. Easy money. Heave getting dangerously close to touching that wall, takes a little bit more penalty penalty sand, and immediately you can see Mika just rockets up by about 0.05, give or take. Coming into this turn, I think Mika has a little bit more speed coming out of it, but it equalizes reasonably well. I don't think there's enough space for Heave to overtake. So Mika, once again, 56.0. So now they've both driven 56 flats. And actually within 4 milliseconds of each other in rounds, which is pretty impressive, dare I say. So their pace is pretty darn even. It's just a matter of how hard they push each other. Heave going for the more outside approach. Inside here, not quite as inside as we've seen him do before, but it pays dividends. He's still up in the running. See the little bounce trick there to keep the tires on the ground to some degree, and Heave definitely gets that section a little bit better. Mika takes a bit of penalty grass there. A little bit of airtime as well. Evening up. Heave again takes a little bit of penalty sand there and allows Mika to catch up, so I'm not sure if that's really worth it when your opponent's pace is so close. Coming into the final approach here, Mika is trailing, but he has a little bit more speed. I don't think he can overtake, and certainly not with that airtime. He tried, but now Heave with a 55.9, he's pushing it. Ever so slightly more. Neither of these players are driving bad times, but it is still, of course, tied up 2-2. Looks like Heave might be taking this round, however, unless he crashes something out, which there's no real reason to. He can safe it at least a little bit. Well, he doesn't really seem to want to. Doing everything as normal, which, sometimes is the better option. Safing it might be putting you in a line that you're not quite as comfortable with. He does take a little bit of penalty grass there, but Mika is still about a second behind, so taking the dirt there didn't really seem to matter all that much. Mika going for a very outside approach, trying to gain some speed back, but there's just not that much track remaining. 55.8, Jesus, that's the fastest we've seen so far. Mika obviously was about a second and a half behind. 57 isn't particularly fast, but that's screaming fast from Heave. And that's going to put the pressure on Mika as well. Because now he knows, he's going to have to push towards his PB if he wants to win these rounds, because Heave is now, 2 points away from actually winning the whole thing. Keep in mind, this is a 1st to 4 He was already on 3. Mika needs to win this map and force it to the tiebreaker, but that's not the way to do it. And while he can sacrifice this round, he really doesn't want to. Heave is in the zone, doesn't seem to be making any kind of mistake. Mika having to claw his way back, and while Heave takes a little bit of penalty sand, it's just not going to matter when there's this much space. It really only mattered in the rounds where Mika was right on his tail. Heave getting dangerously close to the wall, but keeps it steady. It clips a little bit, so Mika has a little bit more speed. He will be able to overtake, and he stays alive. 56.5. Not the fastest round we've seen, but it's just enough. They're tied once again, 3-3. It feels like every single map since the third map started, they've just been going back and forth. They're tied on the maps. Personally, I would love to see this go to map 7. Interesting line there from Heave, but I think he took a little bit too much penalty grass, and you could see him falling behind by about 2/10, maybe even 3/10 now. I have to see with this next checkpoint. Yep, right on the money. I know my stuff. He's going to have to risk. He does have to avoid even more penalty sand there. Going for the trick. Stabilized still at exactly 3/10. That's actually pretty funny. Mika gets a little bit of an awkward line there, and Heave has a chance to overtake. Not quite, but he is still in the running. Still, again, takes that penalty sand. I think that line is maybe better when you're in the lead, but even still, you can see Mika comes out of it better. Heave has a very aggressive approach here, but Mika has so much more speed. As long as he doesn't clip this corner, he does clip the corner. Oh my god. And Heave, 56.3. You gotta watch out with the speed coming out of that corner. Now Heave is on map and match point. This is for $70 US, or I should say $40 US. They're both guaranteed at least 30. So they're just fighting for that extra 40. But it seems like, barring a mistake, Mika has the better lines. But the pressure's on. Like, this map has been pushing both of these players to an insane degree. And there's been all these tiny little mistakes. Mika, you can see, has a little bit more speed. As long as he can keep it clean, I have faith that he can tie it up once again, but we're going to have to see. This could be the final round of this HD Weekly. He's opting to take less penalty sand there, but again, you can see Mika has better speed coming out of it. Although Heave has a better angle coming into this, it's a little bit of airtime, so it's hard to tell, but Mika crashes out. That's going to be it. Heave does not clip, he doesn't touch the wall, and that is going to be GG's. Heave takes the $70 US. Mika is finally defeated. I say finally, and he only won one tournament that he competed in last week, but still, Heave fully undefeated. This is now, what, his 4th or 5th win, I think? Let's head over to the bracket so I can see stats page real quick. Heave, yeah, his 4th win. Okay, so he's now won $280 off of HD, which, I mean, well earned, dare I say. And while we're at this, let's take a look at the overall standings. I don't know if they've updated yet. They certainly have not. Now they have. Okay, just had to refresh. So now, you can see Heave in that first place. Mika now jumped up from 8th to 6th. And actually the top 8 remain steady, but you can see Purple now in that 10th place spot. Dummy in 4th. Have a bunch of players that didn't play this week, like Matt Hyper, Marius, Cackney, Jack. But you do have Fred Wolf actually getting bumped up into that 8th place spot. I think he was further down before, if I'm not mistaken. You can see Dan on the Moon bumps up to 14th. Walla now tied with Cosmos for quote-unquote 12th, right? So you can see these players that aren't really playing as often are going to get bumped further and further down. But again, GG's to Heave. He's played 4 times, gotten a perfect 60 points. Quite impressive, dare I say. And you're starting to see some of these players that do compete more consistently bumping themselves up. But I think that is just about all we have. So thank you again to everyone for participating. Got the whole lineup. I'll send it back into the browser so we can just take a look at the overall standings and whatnot. You got the qualifiers, obviously. You have the top 8 that we saw plenty of. You have Pro and Toyota. And you have Dummy upsetting Fred Wolf. You have Heave taking that purple, and Mika move on. Mika and Heave, and then obviously Heave in a 6-map thriller. Quite frankly, like that last map was really darn good. So again, thank you to all the players for showing up. Thank you to HD for putting on the event, and thank you all, the audience, for having my sorry ass here. I look forward to casting, I don't know, some point in July. Certainly not next week, I know that, because I'll be doing the Duo Cup in some capacity. I'm not entirely sure what. Randomize is yet to announce it, so no leaks quite yet, but worry about that. And that does mean as well that next week should be delayed or pushed up. There's going to be a reschedule slightly to avoid the Duo Cup, and then after that, the NCSA events are going to be less frequent for a while. They usually do it like all in one clump, and then they wait a couple of months and do it in another clump. So after next week, for anyone watching who's curious about the schedule, everything should be relatively consistent. After that, yeah, Friday at 7 p.m. EST, which would be like 3 a.m. Saturday for Central Europe. So my condolences to any of the Europeans that like to compete. But I guess technically last week? Yeah, last week was PATC, and Mika showed up and won. And actually Marius did too, so I don't know, we have the the DGen Hour Europeans show up either way. But anyways, that's all I've got. We're going to raid someone. I'm not entirely sure who. I'm going to leave that up to Marcel and HD to figure out. But so if you want to stick around and hop on to another stream afterwards. But anyways, that's all I've got. It's been a blast. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, I hope you have a great week.